So basically, we have divided this course content into 10 different modules, and this course content has been designed in such a way that whether you are from an identity and access management domain or you are not from that domain, you should be able to cope up with the course, and you should be able to understand what Okta is all about. And hence we start off with the first module as to understand IAM. I understand that some of you guys are already from the IAM background, so it's up to us, like what do we have to cover. We don't have to go in depth of understanding what IAM is all about. We can just cover this module in just one class and then move forward, and so that everyone understands what IAM is all about, and how what are the different methods or tools which we have in IAM and IDM. I heard one of you saying that like your friends are suggesting you to learn Okta, or so what is the need we have to learn Okta? Where does Okta stand right now? And what is the future scope of Okta? And how the IAM market is leading right now? And what are the scopes which we have in the identity and access management domain is something we are going to cover in this module one, which will help you to understand more of IAM. Why do we require this IAM technologies, and stuff like that. And also at the same time, we'll just bring into Okta understanding that where does Okta stand in the IAM domain, and why is it so fruitful to learn Okta at this point of time. So module one is basically going to cover all of such things, basic stuff, all of that, you can just treat them as the introductory sessions to all of like the IAM to Okta, and the IAM market. Once we are comfortable with this module one, we'll be moving on to the module two. Since if you guys have already worked with access management, so you would be aware of with SAML, OIDC, and OAuth protocols. If in case you are not aware of it, and you require some kind of a revision, or if you're not aware of it at all, so then we are going to cover these three modules next. Sorry. So under SAML module, we are basically going to cover the concepts of SAML flow. Like, we have got couple of flows, which is like the IDP initiated flow, SP initiated flows, and basically the components which we have in SAML. Also, we'll do one structure in a demo, like a live application integration in Okta for SAML, and we'll see how we can troubleshoot if in case we get some issue in a SAML application by using SAML tracer tool. I know, like just going through the course, there could be some terminologies which might, sound a little bit technical, and you might not be able to, understand it. Please feel free to, interrupt me in the middle, and I won't. I will try to make you understand as layman as possible, and so that you guys understand what we are trying to cover in this course. And also, like if in case something is not possible to explain in terms of layman language, then definitely again there is no need to worry, because these will be something uh, like step by step we are going to cover in our course, like if in case we go ahead with this content. So that's the aim, and that's how we work. So we'll just make sure that each and every, like point and the terminology is clear to you guys, and from there we can take it forward. So as I've mentioned, like module 2 would be containing the SAML. SAML seems to be easy. It's a modern way of authenticating applications for single sign-on, but it's very important. Like if you're preparing for an interview, if you're looking for a job change, if you're looking to switch into Okta domain, then SAML and OIDC are two protocols, standard protocols. I would say that you should be knowing it at your fingertips. What I would say is, like people do know about SAML and OIDC, but they don't know it thoroughly. Like if I ask people that what SAML is, they'll help me understand. Okay, there are couple of flows, and we do this stuff in our tool to do a SAML integration. Okay, steps are fine, right? So like you know how to do a SAML integration on your tool. That is fine. That is good, but you need to understand the background knowledge of SAML or OIDC also. There are a couple of flows in SAML. There are 5 grant types in OIDC and OAuth. So you need to understand all those flows in order for you to understand that, okay, if in case something is not working, you would be able to understand why is it not working. just in case you know, like, these are the steps which we need to follow in order to do a SAML integration. And tomorrow if something happens by which you don't know, why is it not working, you wouldn't actually know, why is it not working. You wouldn't be a good troubleshooter. You can just, integrate and you'll be gone. If someday people come and ask you, like, my SAML integration is not working or my OIDC integration is not working, at that point of time you might not have an answer, and which doesn't look good, being an Okta developer. So we need to make sure that you understand SAML, OIDC, OAuth2, these three protocols very well. In the process, we'll, see what all different types of flows we have in SAML, what all different types of grant types we have in OIDC. We'll use practical examples to understand how SAML works. We'll use practical examples to understand how IDC works, and then we'll see live integrations on our Okta environment to see that how we can achieve a SAML integration, how we can achieve an OIDC integration. So basically next three modules we are going to talk, mostly on the, this is like, the crux of access management, because when we talk about access management, we are talking about single sign-on, multi-factor authentication, but primarily we are talking, all of us are talking about single sign-on or application onboarding. So module 2, 3, 4 would actually, deal with that. Like, it will help us to understand the different single sign-on protocols. And once we understand these protocols, we are going to have demo session, I mean live practical sessions, wherein I'll be performing on my system and you guys would be performing at the same time on your system. And that way we learn, and if in case you guys gets any doubts or queries, then and there on the meeting we'll just try to solve each and every one of them. So like looking at module 2, 3, 4, they are pretty much the same. Like, we'll start off with the overview, then the different types of flows we have for SAML or OAuth or OIDC, then what are the components which we have for each of these protocols, and then finally a demo to conclude these modules. Then we'll have a module 5 wherein we are going to talk about the administrative UI. So basically, in Okta we are going to have a UI wherein you'll be giving, and you'll be giving once you are given an administrative console, I mean permissions, you would be able to do or configure multiple stuff for which Okta is capable of. Like Okta is capable of single sign-on, multi-factor authentication, sign-on policies, group-based password policies, directory integrations, and so on and so forth. So basically all of those features would be visible to you once you get the admin access on this Okta environment. And like there are multiple access, like there are multiple levels of admin permissions which can be given to an individual. So if there is a super admin, there is an org admin, there are multiple levels of admin, and each of the admin has a different role. Like a read only admin can only go into the environment and read stuff. Right, a super admin can do any stuff on the environment. So we'll see how different admins can help us to I mean when given different level of admin permissions, how that user can actually go into the system and do stuff. And out of which, as I mentioned, that once the admin permissions are given, you will have the permissions to go in and see the admin console. Then the Okta applications is something like we would be doing in this module 2, 3, and 4. That is the application onboarding using any of the single sign-on protocols. Then Okta users, security, customization, all of the different tabs which we are going to see in Okta. I can just even show you, so maybe you can just get a feel of what Okta is all about. So if I just go into the homepage of this environment, this is my own environment, and once we'll start with the Okta, you guys could have your own environment created. I'll help you set up this environment. So basically like what all different tabs you see over here, like the dashboard, directories, and then customizations, applications, security, workflows, report settings, all of these tabs are going to be covered in our in our training. And every each and every tab within these like sub tabs what we have on the main headings, we are going to view that in detail. Like what do we have in people, groups, profile editors, directory integration. Same goes with applications and securities. So we are going to understand each and everything in depth, so that you guys understand what Okta is all about, and what Okta is capable of. So before I move on to the module 6, any doubts or suggestions you have for the first half of the course, or anything you would like to contribute, saying that which you want it to be, you want that something should be different or something should be added, or something should be focused upon in these 5 modules. Any suggestions or anything?
No, no, maybe only these five only. Is there extra in other things is there for training?
Sorry?
Only for these five modules only going to process the training. Maybe any other topics is there.
No, no, we have 10 modules. I've just discussed about 5 modules right now.
Okay,
So
okay,
this
okay.
is like, yeah, divided.
Why ask, right? Maybe some people said like go for service of integration and sales for integration also in Okta. That's why I ask you. Okay.
Okay, so see, any integration, application integration, if we talk about, no, we are going to do that Salesforce integration, which will be a SAML and a secure web authentication integration. So that will be a live integration, which we'll be doing under this module, module 2. So that will be covered.
Yeah. Okay. 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 Yeah. Actually, when I see some other topics, they mention like Salesforce and service now examples they given actually like
Mhm.
integration process. That's why I ask.
Okay,
Okay. Thank
that's fine. Yeah. Actually, I'll tell you the reason why we haven't mentioned the examples is because, like, see, we do not have the admin permissions for any of the applications apart from Okta. Even this is our own environment, which I'm showing you here. So we do not have admin permissions for these environments. I mean, for our Okta environment, like I am a super admin on this, so I can do anything on my Okta environment. But when we talk about different like applications like ServiceNow or a Salesforce, I do not have any account created on these applications wherein I have got admin permissions. I can just go ahead to Salesforce and create a dummy or a trial account. That's fine. But for me to have an admin account on Salesforce, I need to have a license for it. So we do not have license. So that's why we don't write examples like Salesforce or ServiceNow integration. But like we can definitely have dummy integrations being done by with these applications like PagerDuty, Salesforce, ServiceNow. So whatever we can cover, we'll do those things in our class. Okay. So anything else, like anything else you would like to suggest in these 5 modules before we move on to the next 5 modules?
you. Okay, you can move on actually.
Okay, so next, we are going to talk about the Okta integration network. This is like, a very strong cloud, or the cloud of applications which Okta has come up with. We'll try to understand this integration umbrella of Okta, and the different services which are being provided by Okta under this OIN network. So basically, just to give you an overview of what OIN is, like Okta has actually built its own set of connectors. So there are standard connectors and then there are custom connectors. So standard connectors are with those applications like, big applications which everyone is aware of. We just mentioned about 2 applications, that is ServiceNow and Salesforce. We can have Workday, we can have, Trello, like multiple applications. So Okta has already created its own connection. So we have around 7,000 applications in Okta, which Okta has already done an integration, like created a standard connector for. We can just go in and leverage those connectors for our integration purposes. Now, why do we require OIN is because it makes our life a lot easier when compared to a custom connector. The reason being, it helps you to give the provisioning stuff. It helps you to allow, because there are already a set of APIs which are being created by Okta in order to connect with these applications. So when there is already a connector available, we don't have to uh, do stuff by our own, or like we do not have to do those manual stuff in order to reach to the application or talk to the application. And hence, this OIN is a very strong network of Okta, wherein you'll find most of the standard integration, any standard application you can think of. I'm 100% sure we'll have that application there in Okta. So it's a very useful set of network which we should understand. And it helps us to because the Okta is more of like an access management tool when compared to identity management, right? So if you guys are from the identity management background, over there we have access certifications, we have rules, we have segregation of duties, we have maybe identity work life cycle. So over here in Okta, like life sorry, life cycle of a user can be done in some way, like, but apart from that, like access certifications or stuff is something we cannot achieve in Okta. It's like more of an access management tool, providing some, a little bit of identity and access identity management as well, like the life cycle management of a user. So when we talk about like provisioning, deprovisioning, like, creation of a user, deletion of a user, or updating a user, so those stuff is something, which makes it very easier for us to do if in case we are doing OIN, an integration from the OIN cloud. If in case we are doing like custom, then it becomes, a double effort for us to, complete an integration, because that requires a separate connector just for the provisioning, one connector just for the single sign-on, and hence, it becomes a little bit difficult for us to perform the complete end-to-end integration when compared to Okta integration network. So module 6 would, actually cover all of those things, how we can just, uh, like leverage different services which we have in the Okta, and what are all the different connectors which already Okta has integrated with different application, and how OIN is different from the application integration wizard, that is AIW, which is like the custom connectors which we built in Okta. Then module 7, we are just going to talk about Okta users and groups. So basically this module will help us to understand, how Okta users and like, how Okta stores different kinds of users and groups. Uh, Okta is actually coming up with a universal directory. So Okta has its own directory. Like, you just someone mentioned the name of Ping, right? So Ping has different products like Ping Federate, Ping Directory, Ping Data Sync, Ping Cloud, Ping One, Ping Access. So all of these products are different. Now Ping Federate does not have, a directory on its own. Now, if in case you want to, integrate a directory, so you need to have Ping Federate and Ping Directory, that is two products of Ping working together. Or if in case we talk about, some other tools also. So in most of the scenarios, you will have the tool, like, if in case we just talk about Microsoft Identity Management, you'll have the tool, and with the tool you will have Active Directory integrated with the tool. So over here also, it's not hard and fast that, you cannot do Active Directory integration or an LDAP directory integration. But what I'm trying to help you understand is that Okta has its own directory also, which is again following the LDAP protocol, but it has its own directory. So, now the good part of it is like Okta can act as a source of truth, right? So because what is a directory? Directory is like, if we talk about an Active Directory or an LDAP directory, these directories are going to be acting as a source of truth for some other environment, right? So like if you're working with Active Directory is integrated with something, right? It becomes the source of the truth, because all your organizational user data is present in that Active Directory. So it is your source of truth, and you are integrating that Active Directory with some other tool in order to provide data to them. It could be from the HRMS system, or it could be with, your other identity and access management tool which you're already working on. So with Okta, the good feature is that, you can integrate different directories, and then all of that data can come into Okta and sit in the Okta's universal directory. Now Okta as a whole can be compared, can be considered as a source of truth. So what happens is like, let's consider you have different marketplaces, like, there is one India region, there is one maybe China region, there is one, maybe Southeast Asia, Japan. You'll have different Active Directories integrated for all of them, I mean created for all of them. And now you want to, just have a single source of truth. So there are two options: either, you purchase an Active Directory license wherein, you have brought in all the data, or you have another option is like, you'll integrate all of these directories with Okta, and Okta's universal directory would be considered as a source of truth. So, like people coming from Japan, China, India, all of them would be present in the Okta's universal directory once integrated. And then that universal directory can be considered as, the source of truth for any of the applications going forward. So that's why, Okta as a whole is being used as, the centralized access management system of most of the organizations, and wherein, you can directly just integrate your stuff coming from different directories, and then Okta as a whole can, act as your single source of truth. So we'll see how all of those things happens. We'll see how we can create users and different groups in Okta. We'll understand, applications which we have in Okta. How can we register or create an application, and then, the permissions and all which we'll have. So access stuff, the access stuff which like an individual who should have access to what is something we can control in Okta. So that would be, module 7. Then we'll go to the module 8, that is Okta APIs. Any cloud-based tool in the identity and access management, they have, a strong dependency on APIs. So Okta is again, a cloud-based tool. It's completely on cloud. There is no, on-premise version of Okta. Like if we talk about different identity and access management products like Savient, oh sorry, like SailPoint. SailPoint has one cloud, one, on-premise version. Even Ping has, cloud and on-premise products. NetIQ has cloud and on-premise products. So there are different IAM tools which has both, on-premise and cloud products. But with Okta, we just have cloud. It's completely on cloud, hosted on AWS servers. And so for them, Okta APIs are very strong. You want to create users, you want to delete users, you want to update users, you want to, maybe integrate applications, you want to, do any kind of a stuff which you're doing which you would be doing from this particular UI in Okta, that can be done from Okta APIs. So that's how strong Okta APIs are. And we'll see, how can we do all of those stuff from Okta APIs. But the most important part for us to understand is like, like how these APIs work. And we'll be using a separate third-party application known as Postman over here. I'm not sure if you guys already have worked with Postman before, but if in case not, Postman is a very easy tool to work with. We don't have to write any kind of a script or a code to, execute our APIs. It just helps us to, make the API calls with a request and a response body. So like, we'll be using that tool over here to understand how the Okta APIs works, and from there we'll just pick it up. And then, we'll have the module 9, which will be concluding, like, all of the whatever we'll be learning in the first 8 modules would be something we'll just we'll be concluding in this module 9. And then in the module 10 we'll just have some practice tests and interview questions. So, if in case you are already searching for a job, or you're trying to switch a job in the Okta domain, or if it is, internal, it's good practice to, help you understand what different types of Okta questions are being asked in an interview. And from there, you can just you in fact, it would be more of like a discussion. And that will actually help you to understand Okta much better than, where you are right now in with regards to the Okta knowledge. So the IAM market currently also, Okta is the second leader in the IAM market after Azure AD. So, and it is expected to cross the Azure AD as well. So basically it's leading the market at the moment. So, that's where we stand on the Okta front right now, and that's how the course module is designed. So if you guys have any questions or, doubts with regards to any of this module, or, you want to understand something, just, let's, start the discussion.